Thousands of people flooded downtown Detroit this weekend for the Detroit Grand Prix. Earlier today, Sandra Ali and I sat down with the event's president to talk highlights. Take a look. All right, let's talk about Scott Dixon. He won the big prize. Totally also broke a tie in the Detroit Grand Prix record books. What's that all about?
Yeah, so he had his fourth win at the Grand Prix this weekend, which is Scott has won, championship upon championship and race upon race. So not a surprise at all to see Scott in victory lane for sure.
Yeah, his first one in downtown Detroit. He won at Belle Isle on the other times, right?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes, correct.
Well, obviously the energy gearing up for the weekend ramped up all week long. Big crowds. Talk to us a little bit about what you saw in terms of the energy and the vibe.
Well, when we moved this race downtown back here, the energy and the vibe was just totally different from Belle Isle. Just there was more energy, right? And so we saw that again this year. Grandstands packed. Those rooftops on top of Franklin Garage and Port Atwater and Beaubien and Center, they were all packed. Every level with people watching the race. And then in Hart Plaza, up Woodward, people were everywhere. So it's great to see presented to the city of Detroit in a perfect spotlight to the both national and international stages. Now,
one of my favorite things to do before any kind of event is tailgating. Now, you offer some tailgating this year. How did that go over?
It was great. I mean, you stand on pit lane and you look up at Franklin Garage, and every level was lined with tailgaters, right? They had 5 different levels, 14 spots per level, and it was just phenomenal to see them all hanging off the ledge, just watching the race from up there.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Love the tailgating.
And coming off the big weekend, there's no rest for the weary, right? You guys barely take a break. You're already going to start tomorrow talking about next year. What worked? What didn't? What do you want to tweak?
There's always tweaks. I was really happy to see all of the things that we talked about after the 23 race be executed for the 24 race. It was just more well put together, cleaner, better wayfinding, all the little things to make the guest experience better. We'll do the exact same thing starting tomorrow. It's a year-round planning process. So we'll start tomorrow with some of the tweaks and some of the things. And then we always have a couple surprises that we come out with for the fans. This year was the Auto Trader Winter Circle, hanging right over Blue Cross Blue Shield pit lane there. So it was a great addition this year, and we'll come up with some good ones next year as well.
Yeah, always working on improvements. Talk about the attendance this year. Did it meet expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. We're completely sold out on Sunday. And like I said, our rooftops with our expanded, we had 3 rooftops this year instead of 1. They were all packed. So yes, attendance was very good. We don't have the final numbers yet, but they were all very good.
Well, that's good to know, because sometimes, you have an initial event back in downtown that sees a spike, but as long as you can maintain it for the second year. Did you have a favorite part of this year's event?
I just love the stadium atmosphere that very unique pit lane brings. Mm-hmm. You look around, you see the parking decks all around you, the corporate suites to the one side, the grandstands. It just really feels like you're standing in the middle of a stadium. And that is totally unique to the city of Detroit and this circuit in particular.
I was going to ask you, if you had a favorite moment from this weekend. It's probably hard to pick one.
It is, but that is one of them. The other one, there was in Hart Plaza, we have our sit-in IndyCar show car, and there was a giant line on that, mostly kids. Just climbing in and sitting in that Indy car, and that's so cool. I love seeing the little kids get up on we had a little make-believe victory podium there.
Yeah.
So they get on the victory podium, pretend like they won, they get in the car. I just love that.
Yeah, very sweet.
One thing I got to ask, if you'll carry over next year, hopefully you already know this, the free pre-day. I mean, that goes over so well. Will you be having that again next year?
Yeah, thanks to Comerica, that's been a part of our race since 1982, and that definitely will be back next year.